Greetings. Well, time's come to put together another kit. Last time I built a kit, it was this nice oscilloscope. It's cheap, but it does exactly what it said it would. So nothing too exciting there. Now, the same group that did that kit also do a function generator kit. So let's pull this open and see what we got. All right. So we have an appropriate looking power adapter, 15 volts. No wonder they included it. Right, we also have, and appears to be an LCD. Oh, look at that, it is, it's backlit. You can see. All right, set that off to the side. Now, the big bag of parts. So we have another set of alligator to BNC. Put those aside. A bag o' parts. And the circuit board. Things of note, there are 2 Atmel chips on here, there and there. And this ends up being the same as the last kit I built. All of the surface mount parts are pre-soldered. They just have you stuff the through-hole stuff. So that lets you do the easy part. Now, where this kit comes out ahead of the oscilloscope kit, it comes with a case. So, well, without further ado, let's see what we got. So we've got nicely printed color directions. Basically it says, put the parts on. It's not entirely true. Some parts have to go in the back, some parts go in the front. It might actually suggest, no, it doesn't actually say where they go. But they do in the text, so that's just fine. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Set this over here, set this over here. I'm going to sort this bag of parts out, and we'll come back and go from there. Alright, that's the parts sorted out. Nothing too exciting. Decided all of the buttons are going to go right back into the bag they came out of so they don't roll off. So, just we'll get started. So it says insert the backside components. It's going to be this USB jack, these 2 pin headers, 1000 microfarad 16 volt capacitors at 3, and then the 470 mic at 25 volt in 2 places. So I'll go ahead and put those in, get them all soldered, and come back. Alright, one quick note on board layout. The stripe on these electrolytic caps is the negative side of the part. And as you can see, these little caps, they have the polarity different on all of them. Wouldn't have taken much effort on their part to flip them around, make it a little easier for assembly. But it is what it is. So that's all the solder side, or backside components. I think they call it back. Yeah, backside. We need to do the front side components, which are the LCD. The header the LCD goes on. The power button. This part that, ooh, I'm going to cue, oh yeah, yep, that's exactly what it is. It's a rotary encoder with a push button. Fancy. Figured they'd just been using a potentiometer. No, that's actually a rotary encoder. Very nice. And then finally this sea of buttons. Oh. And the last thing that goes on is this, but that happens after some assembly, turns out. Ooh, this looks like it'll be fun to put on. Some modifications required. So, I'm going to go ahead and start getting parts put on. I'll come back if anything exciting happens. Alright. There's all the switches installed and soldered. Now, for the last bit, is the panel mount jack. So, directions allude to disassemble, alright. It wants us to cut the wing off spring washer. That's this. Before I do that, I don't know if that's entirely necessary. Yeah, well, let's find out. Wonder what the rationale was, because that tab fits very nicely. Let me see if it fits with the front. Okay, that. Then for the sake of trying this, we'll put 2 of the standoffs in. Could be a stacking height issue. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a stacking height issue. So once I get that tightened up, it'll stand proud of the hole. Okay, well now we know. So we modify this per the directions. Somehow. That'll do. And then, in a quirky thing last seen in the last kit I built from these folks, they want us to solder a lead onto the, basically use the scrap lead as a part. So that's what I'll do. All right, that's the deed done. So in order to install the BNC connector, we have to start assembling the panel. Okay. Oh, almost forgot. Now is the time to pull the protective cover off the LCD. We'll just go ahead and bend that down. So that goes in just like that. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Now we're in. Put the other four standoffs on. Okay, is that it's not quite all the way assembled yet. All right, before we go any further, we need to do the first time fire up. So to do that, I'm going to plug in the power supply. $15 volts. All right, no smoke. And it turns on. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the buttons in and see if I can't do a little bit more thorough checking. All right, we're back. Okay. Had to read the directions quick. I thought they may have had a fancy button test thing. Unfortunately not. All right. Well, that seems to, all the buttons seem to do things. So let's finish assembly. All right, that's soldered. Let's get this pin out of the way. Let's get the bottom put on. I'm putting this together. I'm sure they wanted the shiny side out, but this is the side that goes down to the bench. So I will put the dull side out and suffer the consequences. Now, hold on, I'll get a test setup set up. Alright, I've switched cameras. My nice camera I normally use has a polarizing filter, so I have a hard time with looking at these LCDs. So, turn it on. Watch as it boots. Alright, so it says it's giving us 1,000 hertz or 1 kilohertz sine wave. 5 volts with a 2.5 volt offset. I've got the oscilloscope set to AC, so it's going to be centered around 0. So the oscilloscope is saying we have 5 volts peak to peak, more or less. So, what can we do? Alright, so there we go. Alright, so 2.5 kilohertz. And with the knob, you can kind of see through my hand there. Frequency's jumping up. Turns the output off and on. Okay. Did some more research. So we can change a sine, square, triangle, a couple of different sawtooth, stair step, and user defined, which is not defined. This does claim to have some arbitrary waveform abilities. So that's the function generator in a nutshell. Seems to work as advertised. So, thank you for watching.